Okay, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Welcome to Smells Like. Been a little bit. Good to see ya. Hope this finds everybody feeling all right. Got my Starbucks coffee here. Almost finished. I feel like that's always like the best part of the day is when you first kind of get into your cup of coffee and you start to feel it and you're like, all right, I'm starting to feel good. And then it's a little bit of a letdown also when you get to the end of your cup of coffee and it's like, oh man, now I'm at the end. So I had a few fragrances that I wanted to talk about. I thought instead of doing like a fragrance review, it's been so long since I've been on YouTube at all. I've just been busy and just life and just haven't gotten around to sitting down in front of the camera in quite a long time. So I thought I'd go through and highlight a few key pickups and then maybe some full reviews to come. Scent of the day, it's frigid where I live here in the Midwestern United States. So good fragrance to wear when it's cold, when I just kind of want to relax. I've got the day off. Chanel Egoiste. Classic, masculine Chanel all the way. Just so good. So that's what I'm wearing today, which kind of reminds me of the first fragrance I want to talk about. This is a new pickup for me. I went ahead and got a gently used bottle of Guerlain's Encens Mythique from their Absolues d'Orient collection. I also own Santal Royale, Bois Mysterio at this point. The reason why Egoiste kind of remind me, or kind of made me think of, I think I'll talk about Encens next, is just because they both have this blast of aldehydes in them. Very different fragrances, Egoiste and Encens Mythique, very different fragrances, but they do both have that big blast of aldehydes. And part of what I love about Encens is the aldehydes. I think aldehydes are kind of can be a second skin, and that's one aspect of perfumery that I'm really interested in, is anytime you have a fragrance that can take on aspects of the wearer, or that wears differently on different people. Aldehydes are one of those shapeshifter things that can really kind of be, and I think were originally developed to have the texture and smell of skin. There's also ambergris in here. I've been told there's real ambergris. This kind of, I've heard people say it's buttery. I don't know if I get that. I'm still getting to know this fragrance. This is one of those fragrances that when I first sprayed this on, this was a blind buy. All of my fragrances from this line have been blind buys just because I don't have access to them near where I live in the Midwest. Oh man. First time I sprayed this on, I was like, what? I don't know. I don't know if this is my style. I don't know if this is for me. Because it's different. It's weird and kind of wild. It's a little untamed. I do get that kind of sweet myrrh, so I do get the incense that they're talking about, but this to me is not an in-your-face, burnt incense kind of fragrance. It's more of that, almost more of like that woody incense or that resinous incense, like the resins of myrrh, I don't know if a poppin' axe of sweet myrrh is in here, but I think it is, because that's kind of what this smells like to me. So you get the aldehydes, you get that, you get this ambergris. There's a little bit of a of like a winter, cold winter beach. Like, I don't know if anybody has seen The Lighthouse. Is it called The Lighthouse or the Lightkeepers? That Robert Pattinson and who's the other guy? The Lighthouse. It's this kind of film noir, weird independent movie that I just watched yesterday. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Just that cold, dark, but wet, sea, salty thing, like a wintry beach. It's got a little bit of that in here. I'm getting to know this fragrance. The best fragrances are the ones that I don't just immediately, right, the first time I spray it, go, oh yeah, I love this, and just wear it, and that's all. I feel like the ones that I need to get to know a little bit and find more about them to love, I think those end up being more special. So I think Encens Mythique here, definitely a special, really special fragrance. Next, might as well stick with Guerlain. I went ahead and picked up a bottle of Louis. There's been a lot of talk about Louis over the past few months on YouTube and in the fragrance groups, just because of the fact that this has now become quite heavily discounted. This is only a 50 ml bottle. I think it retailed for like a lot. I think it retailed for like either $175 or even maybe more, maybe like $225 or $250 for a 50 ml bottle when this first came out. So this one is all about what? This one, right out of the gate, you get this clove. You've got clove, you've got this kind of suede-y leather, there's a carnation in there that kind of brightens things up, and then you've got benzoin. And the way this thing, benzoin and vanilla, so this vanillic, leathery, and then cloves and carnation, and in the top, kind of doing this battle between, cloves being kind of dark and maybe masculine, and carnation being, more delicate and feminine. You've got this kind of, contrast going on in the top, and then in the base, you just get this beautiful leathery, vanillic benzoin. This stuff is really, really good. Like, I've really been enjoying this. This is a work of art. I mean, look at this. I don't think there's anything I could say that anybody else hasn't already said about that the bottle's cool, it's Art Deco or whatever. I don't even know what that means. I just heard somebody say that, so I'll say it too. Because that's how YouTube works, right? So you hear somebody say something and then you say the same thing because you thought it sounded good. So Guerlain Louis. I got this for like $65 on FragranceNet. For that price, steal. Absolute steal. Really, another one that I'm enjoying getting to know. I'm not usually a fan of cloves. So let me just say, for all you clove haters, go ahead and give this a try. See if you can find a sample of it. Guerlain, like at Neiman Marcus or Saks Fifth Avenue, get in touch with the Guerlain rep at the closest Saks to you. Even if you don't have one near your town, call Saks Fifth Avenue in the nearest big town to you and say, I need to get in touch with the Guerlain rep. Get in touch with them. Say, hey, I need to try Louis. Is there any way you could send me a sample of Louis or anything else? And I'll bet you that they would mail you a little vial with Louis and maybe a couple of other things for you to try. Because that's what they're about. When you get in the luxury fragrance world, you gotta expect luxury. So if you're not experiencing luxury and you're paying it, then you're not doing it right. You need to expect luxury from these luxury places that you're going and spending your money. So if you want to try something, call them up, tell them, I need to try this. Send me samples, please. Just if you're nice about it. Best to find a rep at a store, an actual person who you can email or text or even speak to on the phone. Anyway, let's get into the last couple things that I wanted to talk about. Dior. I posted this box on my Instagram and said, guess what this is, after a previous Dior related Instagram post. I'm gonna have to finish my coffee before I get into this. I'm drinking Starbucks because look, I lived in Portland for a number of years, one of the coffee meccas of the world, and I'm drinking Starbucks, but where I live, that's the best espresso you're gonna find around here. So my coffee drink of choice is the Americano. It's just espresso and water. That's what I like, so that's what I get, and I have to get it at Starbucks because that's the only place that has halfway decent espresso around where I live. Anyway, what's in the box? Dior. It's getting talked to death, man. What do we got? I went ahead and bought it. I did an Instagram post saying that this was just soulless, wispy, wimpy, woodsy BS, in other unkind terms. And then I started wearing it. I work in a fragrance shop of sorts. And we got this in the store, and I started wearing it, and I made myself a little decant. And I started wearing this around, and I found that this isn't that bad of a fragrance. I was more upset that I thought this was replacing the original Dior Homme, which I know this isn't like the original, but you know what I'm talking about. The original Dior Homme. I thought this was replacing this. According to Dior, it's not. However, I can tell you two things. One, Dior Homme O. This has already been taken off the shelves. This is gone in North America. Your local Macy's, whatever, all those places are all doing their inventory for the year right now, and once they're done with their inventory, all Dior Homme O is getting sent back to Dior. So Dior Homme O is no more. So if you want to get a bottle of that one, I recommend, maybe find one online. You can still find them at a good price online. Or if you like that fragrance, or if you've maybe been thinking about getting a bottle, you might want to do that. The new Dior, people are calling this Dior Homme 2020. This has a lot to do with Dior Homme Sport, which is my least favorite from the entire line. I really like Dior Homme Cologne. There have been various iterations of Dior Homme Sport. I have the latest iteration, which is just a really fresh, fruity, citrusy thing that is sporty, and it's fine. It smells fine. I don't mind it. This is kind of fragrance you could wear like to the gym or after the gym, just as a refresher. Summertime fragrance, Dior Homme Sport. Worth having if you like the Dior Homme line. Dior Homme 2020, for me though, the more I wore it, the more I started to get what this is. This fragrance goes with Dior Homme 2020, the whole campaign. So the clothing campaign there's a new creative director at Dior doing a brand new Dior Homme 2020 campaign, all the clothes and everything. They're doing some pretty cool looking stuff. They're doing some pretty rad clothes, new direction for men's Dior fashion. That's why we get a new Dior Homme. That's why they kept the Dior Homme moniker, because it has to match the Dior Homme clothing line. So that kind of explains a little bit. The problem is in North America, this, even though Dior is saying that you can still get the original, this will be called Dior Homme 2020, and this is going to be just called Dior Homme Original. They've already pulled Dior Homme Original off the shelves of a lot of places in North America. I just happen to know that. They're not carrying it at all at places, at your large department stores. They're not carrying it at all at places like Macy's and Dillard's. They might still have it at your local one, but they're not ordering more. They're ordering this. So that's a problem, because this is a shadow of the original. But it's also getting a lot of hate. I think if they would have just made this a new fragrance, not a flanker, just made this like a new men's direction. Kind of do like what Tom Ford's doing with Beau de Jour. Repackage Beau de Jour, or like what they did with Ombre Leather. Repackage Ombre Leather, repackage it, kind of rename it, put it somewhere, put it in a different collection, release it. Good to go. It's a different fragrance, right? No, they had to keep the Dior Homme name, and I get why, because they wanted to connect it to their fashion line, their clothing line. But I think it's a big mistake for Dior. I've been wearing this a lot. It smells really good. It's a great work fragrance. There's a lot of ISOE Super in here and other aroma chemicals that are meant to take on aspects of the wearer's skin chemistry, which, as I said at the top of the videos, that's something that I do like. I like the way it smells. Those of you that like getting compliments, I think I got a compliment from someone every single time I wore this. I wore this every day for about 5 days in a row last week, just to work. And like on my way to work, whether it was like stopping at a restaurant on my way home, or Starbucks drive-through lady went wild, different people at work, strangers at the mall stopped me and asked me what fragrance I was wearing. So if you are a compliment-minded person, I don't really care. But if you want to get noticed, or if you're out in the dating scene, this would be a good fragrance for that. You know, it's definitely a crowd pleaser. It's bergamot and woods. That's pretty much all I get. Bergamot, woods, maybe some of that patchouli, that woody patchouli chemical that Prada uses in a lot of theirs. What is that? Akigala. I feel like there's something like that. That Akigala wood, that patchouli wood chemical, and vetiver, some type of a vetiver woodsy thing. ISOE Super, kind of cashmerean, kind of those kind of chemicals are in here, and they smell good. They smell pleasing. So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to add it to the collection because I want to have all the Dior Homme fragrances. Let's move along here very quickly with two other far more important additions to my collection that I'm not going to spend as much time talking about because these will get full reviews. One of these real soon. I got Fahrenheit Parfum. Finally, I'm collecting up all the good that Dior has done over the past few years that they are now turning their back on and kind of throwing away. I'm making sure that I have a piece of the good years of Dior. Dior Fahrenheit Parfum is an amazing version of Fahrenheit. It tones down some of the rougher edges. you know, the screechy violet, that petroleum violet in the original. It tones that down. It makes it more vanillic. This is just a warm, inviting, great winter fragrance. It's classed up a little bit too. It's not as rough around the edges. It's a lot smoother than the original, so I picked that up. And then I had to pick up Aqua Fahrenheit. I've had this on my radar literally for years. A fresher take. So you go darker, the darker parfum on one end, and a fresher, more aquatic, more citrusy take on Fahrenheit. On the other hand, Aqua Fahrenheit definitely has been discontinued. Fahrenheit Parfum is not being sold in the United States anymore. To my knowledge, you can't find it. So I don't know if this is another one of those Paris exclusives, or I don't know what Dior's doing, but you're not going to be able to find this. You're not going to be able to find this. You're not going to be able to find this Dior Homme Parfum. You're not going to be able to find this Dior Homme Intense, because they're coming out with a new Dior Homme Intense. You're not going to be able to find Dior Homme Eau because it's been discontinued. They're taking it away. You're not going to be able to find the original Dior Homme Eau de Toilette, even though they claim that you still will be able to. You might still be able to get it from the French website, like Dior's French website, but I don't know. I feel like the best days of Dior are in my hands right here with these, and that is the past, and that they're kind of going some new directions that are not as fun, not as good. But you never know. They could surprise us. They really could surprise us. Maybe this first one is just the beginning of some new things that they're gonna try. Maybe they'll take some notes from Gucci and try some things. I don't know. But so anyway, that's a really long video showing you kind of what's new going on fragrance-wise. For me, wow, I caught it. I almost dropped my bottle of Aqua Fahrenheit. So hey, that's all. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments, what are your thoughts about Dior? Is Dior done? Like, is Dior gone down the tubes? It seems like Dior, fragrance-wise, has been on the ropes for a while. Are we seeing the end, or are we seeing a new beginning? Let me know down in the comments, or just let me know, out of all the fragrances we talked about today, do you have a personal favorite from any of the ones that we've talked about today? Love to hear from you in the comments. It's been a while, man. Give me a like, give me a comment. It's been a while. All right? Good to see ya. Hope you're good. Bye.